Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to episode 44 of Cutscene Convos.
Yes.
This week we have a character profile on Mantis. We'll be discussing the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. We have a nerd Christmas list to be given over to Santa. We're also going to give you the secret to becoming a Marvel or Disney actor, as well as the standard Nerd News Network stuff before we move on to our superhero showdown. But before all of that, Hori, how's your week been?
I honestly don't know where this week's gone. I feel like the last 2 weeks have just disappeared, and it's like, oh, it's Thursday again. Podcast time.
I feel that on a visceral level.
Just honestly, just work. Obviously, Rotterdam's in like a week, just over a week now. So still trying to get shit prep for that.
Yeah.
Partly my own fault for leaving some stuff to the last minute, but here we are.
It's the way of the world.
Yeah, it's the way of the world. Other than that, I've just kind of been chilling, playing games, playing a bit of TFT. Yeah, just vibing. Watched. Don't know if you've seen people talk about it, but a show called The Bear, which is like a chef.
No, I don't think I have.
It's on Disney Plus.
I saw a trailer for a film called Cocaine Bear.
I've seen that everywhere. I don't know why. Whoever's their marketing team is doing a good job.
Viral marketing, yeah.
No, it's a show about a like Michelin star level chef who ends up back at like a family sandwich shop and trying to.
Oh, okay.
But
where did you say that was?
It's on Disney Plus because it's one of Star on Star Network or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Which
I think
is where,
I might have seen like the card for it.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I've seen like a couple of things on my like TikTok. So I was like, you know what, I'll sit down and watch. It's like 8 episodes in their first season. Good show. Especially if you're into like, if you enjoy those kind of cooking style drama shows, like I don't know if you ever watched the film Chef, the one where he does the food truck. It's
No.
thingy from Happy Hogan, hit that actor. I can't forget his name.
Yeah, John Favreau.
Yes, it's him. So, film like that.
Also, you're aware you've probably just infuriated people by
referring
to the actor who played Happy Hogan.
Yeah. That's
not the director who started the MCU or a big part of modern Star Wars.
That's just the way
that
my brain
guy
works.
who played Happy Hogan.
Yeah. It's just the way it's just the first place my brain went, so that's what they got. And come at me, fans.
Phenomenal.
But yeah, good show. So I mean, if you're into that, I'd recommend it. But finish that, and then other than that, just chilling. Pretty chill. Well, chill week outside of doing busy work stuff. So, how's your week been?
It started off as chaotic as the last month and a half has been, but we're slowly getting to a bit of normality.
That's good.
So we finished recording on Friday. Saturday was my brother's birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
The weekend was kind of A, recovering, and B, catching up on the editing I couldn't do on the Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Which was just, it's chaos. Then the work week has just been, it's busy. Like I said, when you're the only person who does your function, being off on holiday for a week, followed by then a week of unplanned sickness, just all of a sudden you're just like, you've got the work that you didn't do, as well as the new work that's coming in, and you're just trying to wade through it. But we made a bit of a dent now. We're getting somewhere, and it's starting to level out a little bit. On top of trying to get ready for Christmas, which is just around the corner, and work out what to get people and actually get what people want. Yeah, it's craziness. But we're getting there. We're having a good old time.
That's good. You're back on top of things.
Indeed. Yes.
Yeah, no, fucking Christmas is. I only just started thinking about Christmas this last week, and people ask, "Oh, what do you want for Christmas?" I'm like, I haven't got a clue. I haven't thought about that yet. Like,
yeah, it's rough. It is rough.
But
anyway,
Hmm.
We will get cracking. So, I actually
Yes.
chose this character profile before watching the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, but
Yeah, you were
based
saying.
on the trailer, I thought it was going to be relevant, and I was
Mm,
right, which is good.
you were.
So this week's character profile is on Mantis. Um, Once again, the MCU interpretation of Mantis is very, very different. Not necessarily a
Okay.
bad thing. It's just
Mm,
different. So Mantis first appeared in Avengers number 112 all the way back in March 1973.
mm.
Um, she is the
Decent amount.
daughter of Gustav Brandt and Lua Neugen. Yeah,
Fancy names.
yeah. Um,
Okay.
as a child, she was trained by the priests of Pama, which was a Cree sect who believed that she was the celestial Madonna.
Ooh.
Um, yeah, not intergalactic like singing icon Madonna. More like Mother of Space Jesus Madonna. Um, Due to her martial arts proficiency as a child, she was nicknamed Mantis and therefore just named Mantis because she didn't have a name.
Gotcha.
Um, as the protector of the Kotai people, she was also granted telepathic abilities by the priestess.
Interesting.
Um, but then when it came to her 18th birthday, they wiped her mind, gave her false memories of being a Vietnamese orphan, and left her in Vietnam. Say it together with me, folks. That reeks of a retcon. Um, I'm sure people who've watched a lot of this
Oh.
now, when I'm going through character profiles, they're like, that seems like that's been changed retroactively.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is like another extent of you can tell this has been changed retroactively. Um, while she was in Vietnam after having her memories wiped, she was working as a prostitute. This is where she met Swordman, who we have met in the MCU. Jack from the Hawkeye show.
Uh,
Of course, in the comics, he trained Hawkeye and was a villain.
mm.
Um, while he was out in Vietnam feeling sorry for himself, she helped him become a hero once again, and they joined the Avengers together.
How cute.
Um, yeah. She then became a part of the roster. She wasn't a big part of the roster, but she was there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but she wouldn't really make her mark until during the Thanos War.
Right.
Um, During this, um, she kind of made her mark and she became part of it. And as a result of this, Kang found out that she was the Celestial Madonna. And this meant that she kind of found out about her past. So I imagine this is
Gotcha.
when her past got retconned and added in.
Okay.
Um, so during the fight with Kang, Swordman died, and she finally admitted that she loved him. And they buried him. And then she got given all of her memories back, essentially, or knowledge of her life back. I wouldn't necessarily
Mm-hmm.
say the memories. And she discovers that the eldest Katai
Mm.
was buried underneath Swordsman's body.
Oh.
The spirit of the Katai then overtook Swordsman's body because the Celestial Madonna was destined to have the Celestial Messiah, Space Jesus, with the eldest of the Katai race.
Right.
Yeah. So the
Sure.
Katai overtook Swordsman's body. They get married in a dual ceremony with Wanda and Vision.
Oh, how cute.
And then they go and have their Space Jesus.
What a hell of
Um,
a wedding that'd be.
I just 1970s comic books. Um, then after like her having the baby and then the baby going away to learn how to be Space Jesus, eventually through many fights throughout space, she helped kind of rebuild a new Guardians roster.
Okay.
um, that was left in the wake of a big shit show. And they were like, we need people to go out and protect the galaxy and help get everything back to normal. So her, Drax, Gamora, and a couple of others kind of built a new roster of Guardians and went out and did their thing.
Interesting.
In the comic, she's known as being quite harsh and cocky and arrogant,
Right.
which is kind of like the exact
I was
opposite
going to say
of
the opposite of what we know.
yeah. But that's what it is.
I mean, MCU had a bit more of an interesting approach. I mean, they couldn't really go and be like Vietnam and prostitutes. So,
I mean, let's be completely honest. While we don't know for a fact that it was retconned, I'm gonna go ahead based on logic and say she originally came in as the Vietnamese prostitute. That's a very fucking harsh stereotype
yeah.
of the villain's gone off to Vietnam and come back as a hero with a Vietnamese prostitute.
Yeah, I think that's
My big question, which I don't quite get.
oh.
She had antenna the entire time.
Even in the comics.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, so work that one out.
It's fine. It was
don't
just a
question
radio
it.
headset, Connor.
Yeah,
It was a war
honestly.
going on.
But it's an interesting one. I think it shows how, while there are certain things of our characters we should be protective of when they get brought into the mainstream media,
Yeah, it's
we
something
also
that's-
need to understand that some things can change for the better.
Yeah, agreed.
And I mean that moves us beautifully onto the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
Which I very much enjoyed.
It wasn't a masterpiece, but it was fun Christmas shenanigans, which is all I really signed up for.
Exactly. It wasn't you could tell that it was very much we have this set, let's use it for a Christmas special, and then the bits that aren't on the set are just filmed in Hollywood in LA.
Yeah.
So it's like you can tell like this ain't some big budget thing. This is just we've got this fun idea. Let's do it, sort of thing.
Exactly.
And find the cheapest way to do it.
But we did get some interesting information.
We did. There's some
So
like
the Guardians appear to own Nowhere now.
Yeah. Seems they've taken it over from the Collector.
Yeah. We also found out that Peter's iconic blasters were a Christmas present.
Yes. And that Yondu's little figurine collection started from Peter's Christmas present to him.
And we finally got to see Cosmo talk, which I was very excited about.
And do more Cosmo things.
Yeah. Because we got Cosmos teased back in the first Guardians of the Galaxy when we went to Nowhere. And they'd hired a voice actor, but they never used her. Or, I mean, she will have recorded stuff. She didn't make the final cut. So for her to finally get to come and play Cosmo was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I thought that was good.
It was a dumb, fun Christmas special.
Yeah, it's what you expect from when you have like Marvel, like when Star Wars do them. Like they're never serious. They're more the bonus we get is it wasn't serious and it was a bit jokey, but actually they still made it fit into
100%.
Legit timeline because they don't want any issues, obviously.
Yeah, 100%. I'm always down for like fun, weird, quirky things. You absolutely do not have to watch it to understand what's going to happen in Guardians 3.
No.
So if you're someone who only cares about like all the proper deep stories and everything, skip it.
Yeah.
No one should be complaining about this.
I think all this is going to do for like the grander story is there may be some like Easter egg hints at things from this. For example, how the fuck they got Bucky's arm. That's what I want to know. It's like that's a reference. That's a throwback to Rocket asking Bucky for his arm, and Bucky being like, "No." So then, like bring that back and he actually gets Bucky's arm, I want to know where the fuck they got it from.
I
Like,
would also
has
be
he got
interested to know.
has he got a collection of them, like spare ones, and they just nicked one of the spare ones? Did they somehow steal it off him? Is it an old one?
I like to think that Gamora just asked Bucky, and he went, "Yeah, go for it."
I wonder, because I didn't actually. I should have gone back and looked at it, like freeze framed it and looked at it compared to his arm in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and see if it's the same arm or if it's like an old arm. Because if it's an old arm, I can kind of understand. Well, probably just went to Wakanda and was like, "Yo, can we?"
It does also have a post-credit scene, which I enjoyed,
Oh yeah, it did.
of Groot being a Christmas tree. That was very funny. I enjoyed that.
Groot was swole as fuck.
Yeah.
Groot's in that
So,
like late teenager, needs his final growth spurt.
so apparently, a lot of people are confused about something as well. So I'm just going to go out there and
Oh,
say it
okay.
now in case people don't realize. Current Groot isn't Groot from the first Guardians film. Current Groot is that Groot's son.
Well, yeah, it's like a sapling of him. It's not obviously the
Yeah,
exact
it's
same.
it's not him. It has a different personality, which is why even though he's now getting towards the size of Groot from the first film, his
Hmm.
design is a bit different because, I mean, people are different.
I just like to
Um,
think it's also him in like his early 20s now.
Early
That
20s when putting
that
muscle
just
on's a
like
piece of piss.
yeah, just like bulking out in the gym. Also, there was in the post credit scene, he was being a Christmas tree, and then he obviously dropped his arms and like, oh, Groot, why are you ruining Christmas again? So why do I feel like we're gonna get another Christmas special down the line?
That would be funny.
Throwback
Also,
Christmas one.
I think we can start to believe that more specials. You remember the rumor a while back about Marvel are considering moving away from as many actual TV shows and
Mm,
kind of some TV shows, some specials.
yeah.
That intro for like Marvel special, that doesn't seem like something you'd bother throwing together unless you were going to do more of them.
No. I agree. I think there is gonna be some more of these. Especially because like if you like looking at this one as like probably cost wise, it fit a little fun little special thing. And they literally like it was all done out of one set and then filmed just in LA, which is no cost on set. Like they're just going to locations.
Yeah,
And it's like there's probably actually in a way it probably is cheaper than doing a TV show.
100%.
And still fits like adds stuff to the grander story. Especially like how we got like the whole thing of Mantis's um I nearly
Big
said
sister.
Chris. Yeah. It's his
Yeah,
sister, and that adds to the whole like bigger story thing. There's just fun little things like that. I think they're good for. They're going to be good
100%.
filler things.
Yeah. And here's the thing as well. One of the big complaints for Phase 4, or the two main complaints for Phase 4 has been doesn't feel that connected.
Mm,
And watching Marvel start to finish has gone from like a 2-week job to a 2-month job.
mm,
And people are like there's more in phase 4 than there was in the first 3 phases combined in like hours to watch. So maybe Marvel are like, okay, we're alienating casual fans a little bit. So we
yeah,
need to balance it a little bit. So A, there's still plenty of cool stories for us to tell, and we can get around to telling them. But also it's easier for people to consume at a pace that doesn't feel like work.
yeah,
And I think they're two of the big parts of the decision, as well as going one 9-episode TV show and a special is going to be cheaper, I would imagine, than two 6-episode TV
oh
shows
yeah.
and probably yield better results.
I agree. There was
Um,
one thing that I was disappointed about though
Go
from
on.
this Christmas special. We got no mention of Santa.
I was quite surprised.
We got it. Obviously, they mentioned him in a song.
I
And
really enjoyed that song, by the
that
way.
song was fucking great. Honestly, loved it. But yeah, other than the mention of it in the song of being like he travels like to every home in 14 hours. Um, I would have loved if they just dropped a hint Like if the post-credit scene had actually been like a shield file on Santa Claus or something.
Yeah. I see. Here's the thing. I don't want to say too much because yeah, Santa character profile is coming up.
I know.
But they definitely could have had a lot of fun with a potential kind of
Yeah.
Santa post credit scene, which I think would have been a lot of fun. Especially if you do it right, it could be a lot of fun for kids as well.
Yeah.
Um, but overall, it was fun. Is it something that's going to get added into the must watch every Christmas? Probably not. Is it something that I definitely think if you love Christmas and you love Marvel, you should watch? Absolutely.
Mm.
Kevin Bacon's really funny in it.
Yeah.
Definitely got in the spirit of it. Probably got paid quite well, but definitely got in the spirit of it. And I enjoy stupid shenanigans. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
It's just a Christmas fuck
Yeah,
about. Like it's one of those where it's like you'll have your staple Christmas films, but if you've got a spare evening over Christmas each year, you're like, well, let's chuck on. We want to keep it in a Christmas theme. Let's chuck on the Marvel.
100%.
You never know. In
Um,
5 years, we might have like a bunch of them that we can watch as like a.
yeah, like that'd be like quite a fun thing to do. Like next year, do like an Avengers Christmas special, and the one after like do an X-Men Christmas special. And then before you know it, you have like
A little
you get to see
MCU.
you get to see like every group of characters having their own Christmas. Don't do a
Exactly.
Peter Parker one though, because it'll just be depressing.
Ooh.
um,
Pain.
but keeping on Christmas because it is now officially December 1st, and
Yes.
we are going to milk Christmas for all it's worth.
We are this whole next one.
We have been putting together our Christmas list as nerds for Santa.
Yes.
Um, how do you want to do this? You want to just be I go, you go, or do you want to alternate?
Um you go, I'll go.
Okay, cool. So first and foremost for me, and the reason
Mm.
this is on the Christmas list is because I physically don't know how they can make it happen. So I'm asking Santa for a little bit of magic here. Give me a Flash video game. It's so difficult to make work. I get that because the Flash is OP as fuck. So getting the balance of him being realistic and you're like, yeah, this is awesome without like making stupid ways of being able to die in the game is rough.
Hmm.
But I want a Flash video game. If anyone can do it, Santa can. That is number
Okay.
one. Number two is a bit more realistic.
Right.
I want uh confirmation other than Deadpool 3 of MCU X-Men.
Ooh.
I want to know the rumored or like the working title of a confirmed mutant project.
Ooh.
Even if it's something as simple as this is
Just
Project,
the name card.
yeah, like Project X. Like, oh no, that's 100 Thieves in it. But you get what I mean?
Yes.
Just like you know how I have like there's
Yeah, no,
super
no, I get
weird
you.
working titles. Give me that, let that leak and let it be confirmed that is a mutant project, just so I know that it's definitely being worked on as we speak.
I can get behind that.
And then the third one is the probably actually the least likely to happen because I mean it's a once in a lifetime kind of thing.
Mm.
I would love a newer IP from DC, Marvel, an independent company that I can fall in love with, like I have with Spider Man and Invincible and all them other great characters. Give me something where I'm just like, I want the comics and the show and the game, and I want it all yesterday. Um, because yes, it's great having old characters that we look at and we can like reminisce over and love, but I would love to have one truly iconic, great character
Mm.
that I can like go along with from the beginning.
Gotcha.
Like
I get you.
Invincible's like young,
Mm.
but it was still before I was even collecting comics properly.
Yeah.
So like for one to crop up and me to like see it and go, I like the look of that, and then be there from the start would be
Mm.
special. I don't necessarily want it to be as big as Invincible and Spider-Man because that's, I mean, less than once in a lifetime. But just one that I love as much as them to come along and be like, yep, that is brand new.
Yep. I
That
get
would
you.
be great.
That'd be pretty
What
cool.
about you, Mr. Zontal? What would
So
you like for Christmas?
we'll go. What order should I do this? We'll start with. I love a Deadpool 3 trailer.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So we've had the teaser, and we've had the tease that Wolverine's back. Now we just even if it's like the teaser trailer and it's just like actually just like a single clip from the film or something, just like that initial being like Hugh Jackman back in, claws out, like, and Deadpool back in the suit, Ryan Reynolds back in the Deadpool suit, like that. Would love that. Could have that under the tree. That'd be great. Keeping on Marvel, some sort of similar to your like X-Men confirmation, but Spider-Man 4, either a title, so we know kind of maybe where this is going, or maybe it's like, I don't know, a teaser of some sort. I want to know where we're going next with Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Even if yeah, I mean, if title, like knowing the title of it would be great. I think give us a good indication. But yeah, something.
Lots to speculate over.
Yeah, and then my final thing is, I want a new Star Wars movie, like a confirmation of like this is where we're getting films and this is where they're going to be set. Like time, even if it's just like it's set at this point in the timeline.
You want them to come out and go, "We're going back to the old Republic, motherfuckers."
Well, yeah. If they came back out and were like, we're working on a new trilogy and it's set in the height of the Sith, I'd be like, cool, yeah, I'm on board. Give it me
Take
all
my
now.
money.
Yeah, like just we've got loads of Star Wars shows at the moment and stuff coming out. Like I just want that like film level now. Now them to ride off the hype and give us some films.
100%, 100%.
Now, I mentioned before we started recording to Connor that I took this question originally that he posed in a different way of like actual nerd gifts. But I have a counter way of posing a question now of this. So if Connor, Christmas morning, present under the tree, you could have one item from, we'll do the things that we cover, so Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Marvel, DC. If you could have one item from one of those universes, and it's like just even if it's just to go on your shelf or just to own, but one item, what would it be?
Okay, so I've got two answers.
I also have two answers.
If I get like associated powers, give me a White Lantern or a Green Lantern power ring.
Okay.
If it's purely just a really high quality, like
it's the item.
then I'd probably go power ring. But it would be very difficult for me to say no to a Flash ring that has his suit hidden in it.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't have access to the Speed Force to get the most out of that. So
Yeah,
it would just be a really cool ring.
That you can put the suit on and off.
Well, no, because he uses the Speed Force to do it.
Yeah, it does.
It would just be a really cool ring.
You get electrocuted one time or something, and just the suit would pop out.
Okay. Red ribbon coming up. So yeah, I'd probably go power ring.
Okay.
A lantern power ring.
So my two things is I think I'll. One is I want a lightsaber. I just want a lightsaber.
I back it. It's very difficult to say no to.
Like legit actual lightsaber would be sick. My other thing, which I feel is kind of cheating, but also isn't. I want Jarvis.
Oh no, I can back that.
Like,
but you do have to find space for like 50 server racks.
Well, yeah. I'd like it'd be like, this is a big present. It's just a server rack, and I'm like, huh? Yeah, and then turn it on, it's Jarvis. But like, no, if I could have Jarvis,
you're gonna have to run all the cables and the monitors and the speakers and everything for it. But we can get you the server with Jarvis living in it. That's fine.
I think Jarvis would also be a sick thing to have IRL.
It would be very, very cool. Very, very cool.
That was just a different. I mean, maybe the listeners can let us know what they would have out of those
Well, I
universes.
mean, here's the thing: we can't have a new lightsaber or anything like that for Christmas. But if you're a nerd and you do want something nerdy for
Mm.
Christmas, what you can do is you can go down to the Forbidden Planet affiliate link down below,
Pretty sure you
and
can
you
get
can
a
use that
replica.
to get a replica or get a Funko Pop of your favorite character or a graphic
Mhm.
novel, a comic book. I think there's some novels on there as well, but
Yeah, like
like
Forbidden Planet has
top
everything.
yeah, they have everything. So if you want something tangibly nerdy that you can get this year, or you want to get something tangibly nerdy for someone else, the link's down there. It supports us a great deal, and hopefully you can find something really cool for someone.
There might even be a flash ring that
That-
basically
I
will
do think
function
they sell a
exactly
flash
the
ring
same as if we had a
as the
flash
one
ring.
I'd want. Yeah,
Yeah. So there you go. Maybe Jenna can buy that for you, Connor.
I am not going to lie to you. There have been a number of times I've looked for high quality flash
Flash
rings
rings.
just because it's one of the things. Sometimes you just got
Why
to let
not?
your nerd shine in a little way.
Exactly.
But it's fine because with what I'm about to teach everyone,
Oh, here
they're
we
all going to
go.
have enough money to become Batman.
Oh, okay. I best get a note out then.
Yeah, yeah. So this is how you're going to become a Marvel or Disney actor.
Right.
I have held this theory very close for a long time, and it's
Kevin,
very
don't come for us.
it's very easy theoretically. You do have to pull it off though. So my girlfriend has been rewatching Doctor Who, as I'm sure a lot of people have, after David Tennant has come back into the role for the special for
Mm-hmm.
Ncuti Gatwa takes over.
Mm-hmm.
And while she's been rewatching it, I have been reminded of this thing that I've noticed for a number of years.
Okay.
If you want to work for Marvel, more specifically, but Disney in general, you have got to go through the BBC. I am going to
Okay.
list off some actors who have been in Doctor Who mainly, with a
Mm.
little bit of Sherlock and also a couple of other shows. Some of them have been in multiple each.
Right.
Um, some in main roles, some in side roles,
Mm-hmm.
and this is not everyone. I'm sure I've missed people.
Yeah.
So, starting off, the most obvious I will feel for a lot of people is probably David Tennant.
Mm-hmm.
He played the Doctor. He also played uh, Kilgrave in Jessica Jones.
Yes.
Christopher Eccleston played the Doctor. He also played the main Dark Elf in Thor: The Dark World.
Oh.
Karen Gillian
Mm-hmm.
plays Amy Pond to Matt Smith's Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Also plays Nebula.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Smith played the Doctor, then went on to play Morbius. Not Morbius, character in Morbius. Haven't seen the film, but Matt Smith's in it. As far as some people are concerned, he's the only highlight. Andrew Garfield.
Yep.
He was in one episode during David Tennant's run, the Daleks in New York. Oh, that was a two-part actually, I think. Um, Pretty small role, but plenty of speaking lines.
Mm-hmm.
That was well before he was anywhere near a big role. Um, Gugu Mabath Raw. Now, this is where we start getting more niche with it.
Okay.
She played Trish in Doctor Who, which was Martha Jones's sister.
Okay.
She also played Judge Renslaw in the Loki series.
Oh.
Yeah.
God.
Then we've got Tony Curran, who played Da Vinci in one of the Matt Smith episodes in Doctor Who.
Right.
He's in two Marvel IPs.
Oh.
He's in Thor: The Dark World as Boar, and he's in Daredevil as the Irish mafia guy that kidnaps the Punisher.
Oh.
Letitia Wright. She
Mm-hmm.
was in a Doctor Who episode, The Eye of the Raven, I think it was called. She's obviously Shuri in the current Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah. Such a Darwin. You're gonna have to forgive me because I've got to write down who he played in Marvel here. Oh yes, of course. So he plays the Master opposite Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, but he was also in Iron Fist as the
Oh
one of
God,
the
that
main
show.
antagonists. Benedict Cumberbatch obviously
Well.
played Sherlock, then
Yep.
played Doctor Strange. Martin Freeman
Mm-hmm.
played Dr. Watson, now plays Everett Ross. Richard Madden was in the BBC show The Bodyguard before he became Icarus. Gemma Chan had 2 roles in 1 episode of Doctor Who and 1 episode of Sherlock, where she was a named character with a number of lines,
Mm,
but was only in the 1 episode before she then had a role in Captain Marvel as one of Captain Marvel's squad when she
mm.
thought she was fully Kree, before then becoming Cersei.
Oh,
I'm not saying this is everyone. I'm almost certain that I've missed people.
yeah, that's
But you
probably.
see, there is a pattern, and I think I've worked out what causes this pattern. Marvel and Disney require actors they trust and they know can work hard. We know that Disney admire Doctor Who and the BBC because they're partnering with them for Doctor Who going forward to increase
Yeah.
the budget and allow them to flourish, which
Hmm.
means they clearly like the way it's done and the operational sense and everything like that. Which means if you can get a role with the BBC as an actor, even bit part roles. Another one I forgot. Sorry, your man who was in Get Out, the main actor. I forget his name. Daniel Kaluuya. He plays the leader of one of the tribes in Black Panther,
Mm,
Okoye's husband. Yeah,
yeah.
if you can get one of these roles, um, it shows that you can work in these professional settings that they know you're going to be able to then operate with them. Um, don't get me wrong, a little bit clickbaitily, I made it sound like it's just, oh, I can guarantee you a Marvel role. Obviously, it's not that simple. But as an actor, if you are an actor who wants to go that kind of way and eventually work for a mega corporation like Disney, who's going to be able to give you a lot of work, it shows that even small roles with people like the BBC, who are quite well regarded with what they make, can really give you the skills you need, them transferable skills to go further.
I imagine Disney kind of look at it as well the same way that, like, with schools, we look at Oxford and Cambridge. It's like you've worked on something that's in the BBC. Okay, that's an extra star next to that accredited role.
Exactly. And
So,
don't get me wrong, some of them actors played major roles in them shows, so they're obviously
hmm,
talented. But some of them played, they were in 1
side
episode, 2
roles. Yeah.
episodes. Um, Roles that are so small that people regularly forget Andrew Garfield was in Doctor Who. It's not
Yeah.
like that made his name. Um, but I think it's very interesting. 1 or 2 is a coincidence. This many is a pattern.
Yeah.
Disney clearly look at the BBC. Maybe I need to do more investigating here. Maybe all of these people all come under the same talent agency or something, or did
Yeah.
at the time. And
Imagine.
that talent agency is just really good at pimping people out to Disney. Who knows? Um, and this is before we even looked at people who went on to work for like Star Wars related things as well. Christ knows how many people have gone that way.
This is
But
where, like,
there's definitely a pattern.
someone on the recruiting side of Disney is just a massive Doctor Who fan. And they're just like, oh, I get to put that person in. Okay, but well, yeah, they'll be great for the role. Yeah, move them on. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
there you have it. Just get on Doctor Who.
yeah. Just get a side role in Doctor Who and just wait from that call from Kevin Feige. I'm sure it is that simple. I'm sure
And
you don't
just,
have to do anything in between.
yeah, all you have to do is be on social media being like, I'm such a huge nerd.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But with the way the MCU's expanding, they're going to need all the actors they can get. So get on
This
that
is
quick.
true.
And this brings us on to the Nerd News Network. Hori, if
Hmm.
you got our big fanfare intro ready yet? I'm sure it's playing
Um,
right now.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
a relatively quiet week, but
Mm.
not
Mm.
silent.
Yeah, there's little bits here and there.
Little teasings.
Yeah.
One of the big things that seemed to come and then disappear as fast as it came was that there is a rumor, and it is a rumor, even though some people reported it as fact,
As they
that
do.
Deadpool is joining the MCU via the TVA.
Yeah, see, I must have missed this. So it explains why it disappeared.
Yeah. So by the looks of it, the Miss Minutes account on Twitter, the official one,
Okay.
Miss Minutes is the super creepy character from
Yeah,
Loki. For
yeah.
those who are confused,
Little AI character.
um, appeared to tweet Ryan Reynolds going, "Hi, welcome." So like if you Google Miss Minutes Deadpool right now, you're going to get 4 articles pop up instantly from 2 days ago about how Deadpool is joining the MCU via the TVA.
Okay.
Um, I think that would be a very interesting way for them to do it without causing too much trouble. Um, I also think with Marvel being the way it is and Deadpool being the way it is, this could just be Ryan Reynolds and co having fun.
Yeah, this feels much more to me like a social media manager having a bit of fun. Being
Yeah.
like, oh, we're known as like the character that it manages all the timelines and whatnot. This will be fun. We know Deadpool's coming to the MCU now. Uh, let's just do a fun little tweet and
Free
get people,
impressions, isn't
yeah,
it?
just get people talking.
Hit my monthly impression quote room one day. Pog.
Because let's be honest, every time like the Deadpool films, like 1 and 2, like the promotional stuff, it's all Ryan Reynolds kind of being smart and having fun about it. No, he knows what gets the internet talking. This is very easy. Like it's been a little while now since we got that like tease about Deadpool, and Ryan Reynolds sat on a couch and he's saying, "Do you want to come back?" So it's been a while since that.
And
So
in today's climate as well, with how rabid nerds are on the internet,
mhm.
a tweet like that, they're going to eat up. They're going to
Oh
dissect
yeah,
every letter of it.
and they know
We
that.
know. Yeah.
It's it's 100%. To me, that 100% is just a marketing thing, just to get people talking about it again. Like, because they're gonna just want to keep generating like discussion about the film till there's a
Yeah.
trailer.
Uh huh.
And I think they should give us a trailer for Christmas. Just really putting that out there. Just Kevin, I know you listen, Kevin. Hope you're having a
Kevin's a
good
big
look.
fan.
Hope you're having a good lunch. Hope it's you're
Yeah.
enjoying that lunch. But yeah, we could have the Deadpool trailer. That'd be real cool.
I don't know. He's probably a bit grumpy that I outed his onboarding process of just stealing BBC actors. We also got more news from James Gunn.
Yes, we did.
Now I don't know how accredited this is, or if this is kind of like word of mouth, the industry vibe over what he's thinking.
Oh, okay. No, I saw this as an article. It was from someone asked him a question.
Oh, okay, so did you see an actual article with this kind of quote then?
Yeah, so
Okay, well that's good.
I've added a bit on my notes just because it was what I remembered. I think someone asked him along the lines of like, now that you're over at DC, like, are you using what you learned on the MCU? And he turned around and said he's not actually basing. He's looking more at basing it around what Star Wars have done than the MCU, and said by bringing in video games and animated movies and live action and all that into one expansive universe,
Got ya.
which is where that whole quote I think has come from.
But he also made it very clear that he's not against solo projects.
No, yeah, he did also I think mention that there'd still be
Yeah.
some.
Yeah. So he's going, oh, we want to get everything in together. We want our games and we want everything you to be able to pick it up and go, oh, that's from there, that's from there, that's from there. But he's not against the idea of if there is a desire for it, a need for it, a different take on a character in its own solo project, which I think is the right way to approach it.
Yeah, and I think he's also like if you look at Star Wars, everything, pretty much everything, games, the animated like Clone Wars series, the animated films, the live action shows and live action, it's all in the same world and it's all canon to the most degree. So I think that's where he wants to kind of like, it also is his plan obviously is like he doesn't want to be limiting this like DCEU that we keep talking about. He obviously has plans that he wants it to spread into animated stuff, but still be canon to the world he's building and games and like spread further than just a set of films that are all connected,
100%.
which I'm all for.
I completely agree. And with how good DC historically have been with animated films,
Hmm.
it's a revenue they definitely need to look at. But what they need to do is make it easier for the rest of the world to access these
Hmm.
animated films. Outside of America, it's a bastard. It's one of them few times where people don't illegally stream the content just because they're cheap. It's because it's the only way to find it.
Yeah, because what's Warner Brothers stuff? Is it streamed on anything?
The animated stuff is streamed on something. DC animated movies
It's gonna be like
um
HBO or something, or Hulu, or
streaming. Where
just
to watch all the DC animated movies online? Yeah, HBO Max.
that's
Or
why.
you can rent them through some places,
But yeah,
but
it's
like they're
HBO Max, which
very
is just.
expensive.
So how
Um,
long before we get DC minus? Because we got Disney Plus
um,
or DC Plus.
I
Imagine they
imagine
bring out
HBO
DC Plus.
Max. I imagine they're just going to work on trying to roll HBO Max out worldwide.
Is HBO owned by Warner Bros. Then?
I think it might be the other way around, or it might be a partnership.
Owner.
Uh,
Um, no, I think HBO is under Warner Brothers Discovery.
okay, so in April 22, Warner Media and Discovery merged to form
Oh,
Warner
okay,
Bros.
yeah.
Discovery. HBO Max is one of the combined company's two flagship streaming services, the other being Discovery Plus. So I
So
do
yeah,
think HBO came under Warner Bros. Or Warner
so
Media rather.
okay, so yeah, it seems like they're just gonna expand then.
I would imagine so. But right now, for a lot of the world, it's basically impossible to see these animated movies, and
Hmm.
these animated movies are some of the best superhero content out there. Um, but if someone was really desperate, I'm sure they could find a YouTube channel somewhere that has the entire films cut up into like 40-second segments that are in a playlist that auto plays with basically no adverts. Like, so it's like almost watching the film in one go. Anyway, I'm sure if someone looked really hard, something like that's probably out there.
Yeah, probably is.
Not that I'd know because I would never do anything
Yeah,
that would.
YouTube. Don't worry, we're just saying that it doesn't exist.
I would
YouTube,
never.
don't
I
go
would never.
looking for that.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's not there at all. YouTube. No one would be able to get around your very
Susan,
cool tools.
Susan, don't worry, it's fine.
Susan, relax. It's fine. um, there was also Quentin Tarantino joins the list of
Has he not
revered and
already?
revered and respected directors that have to have an issue with Marvel.
I
I
feel like
kind of get
he's
his comment.
already said stuff in the past, though.
Yeah, I do kind of get his comment. So basically, what he said is the Marvelization of Hollywood, i.e.,
Hmm.
these big franchises. So there's like 12 franchise films a year, and anything else kind of gets forgotten about.
Hmm.
Has killed off movie stars like Brad Pitt, George Clooney, and stuff. Like people like that don't exist anymore. The characters are now the superstars.
I get you.
And his point was no one's going to see Anthony Mackie, they're going to see Captain America.
Got you.
I do think there is some validity to his point.
Yeah.
However, Tom Holland is a fucking movie star.
Yeah.
Yes, when he's in a Spider-Man film, people are going to see Spider-Man, but people didn't go to see Uncharted to see Nathan Drake. They went to see Tom Holland.
Yeah. Do you know what I think it actually is? Because I agree. I think his point has some validity to it. I think what he's more in a way trying to make a point on is like the likes of like Tom Holland hasn't really changed them being a movie star because they are such a big name and they want to go off and do other films. But because of how many like Marvel films there are, and if an actor gets into that universe, let's be real, they're making plenty of money just off Marvel.
Yeah, 100%.
They're not necessarily doing like they can just do Marvel films and be great. And because of that, they're not expanding themselves into other films, so then they just become known as that character. And I think that's where he's like, yeah, okay, in that case, yeah. Because of how successful superhero films are now, actors don't need to do anything else. So then
100%.
it kills them being movie stars at that level.
I think a better point from him would have been that it's made it difficult to be a out and out movie star. I think there are going to be less Leonardo DiCaprio's,
Mm,
Brad Pitt's, George Clooney's, etc.
yeah,
Um, but I think when there is one, they're going to be
bigger.
even bigger than
Yeah,
the
yeah.
traditional movie star. I think it's going to create more extremes.
Agreed.
Um, but I'm something irks me about directors who are, I guess, acclaimed is the word, acclaimed
Mm,
directors, sitting there and bitching and moaning about the stuff that we, the consumer, are choosing to consume, while they're still, let's be honest, talking about it to get a bit of attention on whatever they want attention on.
yeah. Now I get what you mean.
Like,
It's
who was it the other month that complained their film didn't do well because of Marvel?
I
Oh,
don't
it wasn't
know.
the other month. It was like 6 months ago. It was another acclaimed director. I forget who released a film that absolutely tanked, and he was like, "Oh, it's all Marvel and Disney's fault for just these films that everyone's just mindlessly consuming." And it's turned the cinema, which yes, it's art, but a lot of people are able to switch off and just enjoy,
Mm.
into this thing where you're getting the snobbery that you got in other forms of art, which is why people started watching movies.
It's what it is. Because I think the reason Quentin Tarantino has been in pulled up again, because I'm sure he said stuff in the past, is because he's recently been on a podcast, which is where a lot of this has all been coming from.
What kind of dickhead would go on a podcast?
So, like, I think he kind of probably got baited into this question.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
someone probably, the person probably asked him, like, oh, you've previously said, like, you're not a fan of, like, Marvel films. Do you still feel that way? And he's probably gone, yeah, I think it's killing the movie stars, blah, blah, blah. I think like, directors and like you say, accredited directors, it's it's this kind of thing where they're seeing they see the Marvel system as Disney trying to print money. Like, they see it as like a big business, and it's whereas what they as directors are like, oh, we're in it for like the one of one films which have like a passion put into the story and passion put into how it's like crafted and created. And Marvel's like I think he
Film
sees,
factory.
yeah, because of how many they're pumping out, and doesn't kind of, they don't step back and kind of appreciate it for the bigger picture of Marvel of why people enjoy it, because it's this big
I
integrated
think
world.
I
It's
think the MCU, while it's done many good things, has harmed the perception of superhero culture to the extent that it's viewed as this big industry now. Let's remember, for a long time, if you were above the age of 11 and still like superheroes, you were a fucking loser.
yeah,
And
that's
you and you would be reminded of that.
that's the thing. I think these accredited directors, like, their work's amazing and nothing against them, but they are often older directors, probably still very much have the mindset of, why would any adult want to go watch a superhero film, and struggle to see past like how people don't like the craft that they're making over Like why they go watch a superhero film, not realizing that had Peter Jackson had the reins to the Lord of the Rings and turned it into what the MCU is or something, and like done all of the Lord of the Rings, like had the full reins of the Tolkien estate, like we would have had something like the MCU years ago. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's this kind of weird disconnect of still stuck, very much dedicated to the craft of filmmaking, whereas MCU is like very much bigger picture. We're crafting this larger story for everyone to just enjoy, and I think
Yeah.
that's where like people like Quentin Tarantino and stuff have a bit of a gripe against it for.
Yeah, 100%. And don't get me wrong, like, I'd argue Tim Burton probably as a director sits more with your acclaimed directors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And his Batman films are some of my favorites. So there's definitely room for there to be overlap between these
Mm.
highly acclaimed directors and the comic book world. But I think directors getting so, I'm gonna say as it is, butthurt over the success of superhero films is actually robbing us of the ability to potentially get, like, tell me with Quentin Tarantino style, a Punisher film couldn't be really fucking good.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, like you could have like if some of these acclaimed directors that have very set style and stuff like those crossed into superhero, you get some great films.
I would love to see James Gunn at DC find a character that suits a director's style and just go, I want you to do
Mm,
you, but here's the character.
yeah, I think
That'd be a really cool way to do like a DC Black Label.
I think essentially what will happen is you're gonna get the younger directors that grew up and looked up to like the likes of Quentin Tarantino and studied their styles and maybe crafted their own style of filmmaking from pulling from all these things. They'll be the ones that are the new accredited directors with a set style that people recognize, just like they recognize Quentin Tarantino's style. But they'll be more than happy to work on superhero films, and that's where it'll, like the crossover just will become more natural, and I guess there'll be more creativity then across the films.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Um, and finally, in the Nerd News Network,
Mm-hmm.
the Flash film, the mystical, rumored, long-awaited Flash film.
The what film? I haven't heard anything about this film. Is this a new
um,
film coming out?
you'd think so. It's had another test screening, apparently with good results, largely unchanged from the last one, still with VFX and audio tuning to be done.
At this
But it
point, it's
does
like,
also have a new logo.
did they need to release the film? Have not enough people seen it through test screening now that like kind of everyone's seen
I
it?
don't know how more of the film hasn't leaked, to be honest.
How have we not got to see? Like, come on,
Yeah, where's our invite?
yeah. Why have we not seen a
To be
test
fair,
screening?
are we surprised that we've not been invited to this with how much we've ripped on DC?
Yeah, but then that's why you invite us, because it's like these are the people we want to convert.
True.
I bet there's
As
people out there that are going to hear that this Flash film's coming out and they'll go, "Oh, is this a follow on to the one that came out a few years back?" Not knowing that that never happened.
yeah, not realizing it never came out. But I'll tell you what, our
Oh,
thoughts that were very pessimistic
mm,
that DC may have delayed the Flash film to quieten down the drama surrounding Ezra Miller.
mm,
It looks a bit more realistic now, doesn't it?
mm-hmm.
They've got them under control and away from the public eye. The news has simmered away,
The
and
thing
now
is,
they can
like,
start reintroducing the Flash film.
they're not gonna like. It's died down, but as much as they try to keep running from this or like avoiding it, as soon as that film comes out, the internet's just gonna be like, "Why the fuck is Ezra Miller still in this?" Like the internet's like,
Because is the Flash not just come out really close to Aquaman though?
yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like as soon as it releases, everyone will go, "Oh shit, yeah, that's the film with Ezra Miller in it that we didn't like," and everyone will start talking about the fact that like, why was this not changed? So it's like as much as they're trying to
Oh,
avoid it,
I was wrong anyway. Aquaman's coming out. Wait,
yeah, Aquaman got pushed back as well. Like,
I didn't realize that much. Apparently, it's not going to be until December next year.
yeah, because they still want it after Flash. This is the thing we talked about so many times. Is like,
We're
what
not going to see
happens
James Gunn's DC
till
for 4 years.
2024? Well, 2024 if we're lucky. Then that's the thing though. We've said it before. Like, what happens if we still have no fucking clue what the plan is with the Flashpoint movie.
What happens if these two films bang?
Well, not even if they bang. It's like let's be realistic. They're pretty much fucking pointless at this point because we know James Gunn's essentially probably going to start from scratch or the bare minimum. So realistically, whatever happens in these films, in the grand scheme of things, isn't going to matter because he's going to retcon probably half of it anyway.
Well, so I'm not going to say necessarily he's going to start from scratch. What I would say is his plan of what he's doing is going to be set in stone before the results of these films are in.
Yeah. So
if it's shit and he's decided he's sticking with them, fuck. If they're great and he's decided he's moving on from them, fuck. Like, there's 2 out of 4 outcomes realistically.
well, no, because like if they're
end
good
in shambles.
Well, if they're good and he's moving on from them, that's fine because then everyone's a bit more excited about DC and what's to come. So it kind of benefits him. If they're shit and he's moving on, great, because everyone's like, okay, we're getting a fresh start. If they're shit and he's sticking with them, that's a problem. But it's more the case of like, if they're shit and they bomb, everyone's just going to go, what the fuck was the point in them films? Because we're starting
Why
with
have we waited an extra 2 years for them?
Yeah, like, and I'm still adamant or worried, should I say, that something like Flashpoint's going to reset shit. And because Aquaman got delayed to be after Flashpoint, suddenly Aquaman's going to become pointless. Whatever happens in that film, we're just going to be like, well, this doesn't mean anything. And
Makes 0 sense.
Yeah, it's like, it's such a weird, like, we just need these films to come out and just get past them. Just rip the fucking Band-Aid off already.
Forget release the Snyder cut. Release any cut.
Just release the films.
Just give us the film.
DC, just rip the Band-Aid off, release the films, go dark for a couple of years, and then start fresh.
Imagine after Aquaman comes out, they don't talk about films for 12 months straight.
All that's announced is James Gunn's in the lab.
Yeah. Could you imagine the memes if that's a tweet? He's like, radio silence, I'm going to the lab.
just
people
pictures
editing James Gunn's face onto Eminem writing rhymes.
Well, no, just be editing his face onto like different DC villains and their lairs and stuff. No, like I actually think like they should just go dark on everything after these films and let shit die down because really, like, I hope they're great, but realistically, they're probably gonna bomb, and they're gonna
There's a lot of controversy around both of the films.
Yeah, exactly.
Which doesn't help.
So that's why,
unlike Ezra Miller, whose kind of controversy has died down but will rear its head when the film's coming out, Amber Heard is trending on Twitter every other day still.
Yeah, it's like it feels like DC's dragging their feet at trying to avoid like a painful situation, but there's just no avoiding it.
But now that James Gunn's in and got his feet under the table, maybe he'll go, okay, this is what we're doing. No more delays. It's coming out on this date. You're not wasting any more of my time.
Exactly. Hopefully he's like, can we get these out the fucking way so I can get on with my job? Because everything we've heard from him and what he said he's going to do has sounded great. So
I trust James Gunn.
In James Gunn, we trust.
This man gave me the iconic Scooby-Doo film I grew up with, as well as Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm gonna give the man a shot, as well as. I was gonna
say you're forgetting one of your favorite films.
One of my favorite comic book films of all time. I trust this man to. Once the first film that is fully under his control comes out, you guys are gonna realize that I'm actually more of a DC fanboy than a Marvel fanboy, and you're gonna yearn for the days where I relentlessly shit all over DC again. But it's time to move on to the Superhero Showdown.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
It is indeed.
Super Skrull versus the Juggernaut. Based on the brackets, the Juggernaut is due to have the advantage here.
Yes.
So here's what I'm going to say. The Super Skrull is only copying the powers of the Juggernaut.
Oh. Interesting. So, standard rules.
Standard rules. Bloodlusted, neutral environment. Super Skrull, who is mimicking Juggernaut, versus Juggernaut.
I don't know. Because does the Super Skrull, when it's mimicking, is it enhanced?
This is $1 million question, isn't it?
Doesn't the Super Skrull also have some default powers, though?
Kind of, but not really. They're as far as I know, they're kind of like bred for a specific purpose.
Right, okay.
So, like, when the Skrulls wanted to overtake, say, one of the Fantastic Four, they would breed a Super Skrull to mimic that person.
Got you.
There have been instances of some that had powers from multiple characters, but they were bred that way.
Yeah. So this is a yoked Super Skrull.
Yep.
This is the OG yoked man.
So, the first thing that needs to be considered, and I think it will probably be the deciding factor. While Super Skrull can be bred to mimic Juggernaut's powers, Juggernaut's powers come from a particular stone that's like implanted
I was just
in him,
thinking this.
which is one, super mystical, super magical, and not very well understood. So while they can mimic his power level,
can't mimic his equipment.
That stone is different gravy.
Yeah.
So what you've got is you're left in this situation where, yes, the Skrull if they were both the same person, they'd probably both go, fuck me. I couldn't tell you who's who, because that's the whole point. That stone is a big difference maker, as well as Juggernaut's experience using his powers.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I mean, like the equipment as well, like you said, like the big old helmet that protects his head from psychic attacks and stuff like that. I just think the Super Skrulls are very well trained. They're designed to use the powers efficiently. I definitely think it's like a 55-45 situation.
Yeah.
But I think 55 has to go to the Juggernaut, purely because, for all you know, when he's about to fucking pass out or whatever, the stone hits another level and just keeps him going.
Yeah, and also just like you said, the Super Skrull are bred for a set use and essentially learn how to use those powers. Juggernaut's been fucking using those powers for years and has that edge on his own ability. It's like someone trying to mimic you. You're still going to be like better than them because you have the edge of being you. So, yeah, I think you're right. The 55-45 scenario sort of like sits right on it being Juggernaut's slight favor.
I think the big thing that needs to be remembered is the Juggernaut is famously thick, as in dumb.
Yeah.
Yet still gives a fuck ton of grief to very intelligent mutants of his raw power and how dangerous he is.
Yeah, whereas like a Super Skrull's intelligent and gonna probably try and overthink things where Juggernaut's just gonna be like, me smash thing.
Yeah. Juggernaut is a big bad Kool-Aid man. He's just gonna smash through the wall. Oh yeah, and just go about his day. Super Skrull's gonna try and get too techie with it
Mm-hmm.
and get clobbered.
Pretty
Is
much.
is my hot take.
No, I lie in the same way as you. Like, I think Super Skrull will try and be overthink or too techie with what he has available to him, to where it's as simple as just fucking smash it. And Juggernaut is simple minded and will just, his instinct is to just smash it. So that'll win out on that slightly more occasions than the other way around.
Yeah. So I think we're going to give that dub to the Juggernaut, which is always fun. Little underdog victory. Which means the final of the Marvel villains is going to be Ultron versus Juggernaut, which is the 1 seed versus the 3 seed.
Oh, it's not too bad. It's going to be an interesting fight.
It is indeed.
So,
which shows how important the advantage is, because the Skrull was the number 2 seed. But in the finals of each, there is no advantage anymore. So Juggernaut, Ultron is as it comes. And now we move on to the DC hero
as I say, it's
list.
DC next, right?
Ooh. So next week we'll be having a Swamp Thing versus the Signal.
Oh.
2 of yours, sorry.
Both of mine.
Mm.
Swamp Thing, not to be confused with Marvel's recently met the live screen of Man Thing.
Man Thing, who for their respective companies will come up with by ex-college roommates and debuted within 2 months of each other.
Biggest con in history.
Honest to God. I like to think them two were actually in a romantic relationship and they pulled off the greatest con of all time.
Not even like romantic relationship, just like both of them were
No,
in their
but I
room.
like the idea of them sat there on a porch in a nice house just laughing at these 2 mega corporations.
Well, no, it's just that thing of like they both live abroad now, so like they both run away to the Maldives or whatever, and they're just on some beach house bar, and they're like, remember when we managed to fool Marvel and DC in the same week? And they both sat there with like banks full. Just honestly. But yeah, that should be interesting. I'll have to we'll have to look up a bit about Signal and get a better grasp on.
You mean you don't already have a detailed character profile on your character pick?
No, do I hell?
Shocking. Shocking behaviour.
What do you want from me, kind
of? I tell you what, I will do a Signal character profile next week. Actually, I've already done a Signal.
I can't remember. I don't think.
No, I haven't.
I don't think you had.
No, I haven't. I need to update my already done character profiles list.
How many Christmas themed character profiles have you got? Have you just got the one?
I'm going to do Santa. I might have a little look to see if Jesus officially exists in Marvel or DC canon.
Interesting.
Jesus, Marvel. Jesus does exist in Marvel Earth 616.
Interesting.
So we may well do a little Jesus character profile as well.
But also we've got
he also has a DC version.
Oh.
So actually, and Santa has a DC version. So we might go. That might be our next 4 character profiles. We'll do DC Jesus, DC Santa, Marvel Jesus, Marvel Santa. I should probably do Marvel Santa first, realistically, because that's the one I know the most about off the top of my head. But we'll see. Maybe I'll save that for a week when I don't have a lot of time.
And we've also, for those that some people might realize, but we're coming up to 1 year.
We really are. The channel was officially created on the 19th of December 2021.
And episode 1 was the first Friday.
Yeah, that would have been Christ, let me get that up quickly.
Yeah, I'm skipping back
YouTube.com
through.
charts news Convos.
It must have been the 7th.
The what that went up?
Yeah.
May well have been. Um Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you see us in, if you see interesting YouTube videos that you think we need to be aware of, you can just at Cutscene Convos in YouTube comments now, and it will
Oh,
grab
yeah.
us. Let us know now that we've got our handle. Oh my goodness, we've done so many videos. You know, we're proper big time,
Proper big times.
proper big time.
We have done a
Um,
lot.
since when doesn't it give the proper date of when videos went up anymore? Who knows?
I'll be able to tell you by going to the podcast version because we didn't
Um,
do.
we didn't do video until like episode 7.
But I'm pretty sure it was the
Fun
7th.
fact: we got a Spotify Wrap for the podcast, which was really cool. When I accidentally stumbled across it,
Yeah, I saw you came across that.
we were the top list. We were the top podcast for 7 people.
It's pretty cool.
Shout out them 7 people. If you're one of them 7 people listening on Twitter, at me on Twitter. Listening on Spotify rather. At me on Twitter. If I can remember what my Twitter
And
name is,
weren't we in
and
the
I
top
will follow you back.
5% or something in film and TV?
Film and TV minutes uploaded.
Mm-hmm.
We are in the top 5%.
Which is, here we go.
But
Yeah, 7th of January was episode 1.
7th of January.
So we're
Wow,
like
wow, we wow.
4 weeks off.
Yeah.
5 weeks.
3, 4. Yeah. That will be episode 49. Will be our 1-year anniversary episode. Which is right, we've missed 3 episodes this year.
Yeah.
No, we've missed 4. We missed 4.
Have we? I can't remember.
Or was this year a leap year?
Maybe.
Because that might have been the reason. I don't know. Anyway, we're waffling. Next week is going to be a really waffly episode. I'm going to warn you guys now.
Oh.
Because there is no new content coming out.
Have you double checked this time?
I haven't, but I'm pretty confident there's no new content coming out. I've just seen that there's a trailer for Indiana Jones. Maybe we'll talk about that. But we're going to have to pull some fun talking points out of our arse. But we will do that for you guys like we always do. But make sure you leave a like. Make sure you're subscribed.
Yes.
If you are one of our loyal listeners over on Spotify, and we were your top podcast, at me on Twitter, at Conor Knight, the I is a 1, and I'll follow you back because you are fucking legends. And we'll catch you next week.
Yeah.
For episode 45. Oh, 45. Yeah. It's wildness out here.
We'll see you next week.
Take care.